Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the Radeon RX 9060 XT 16GB GPU in Forza Horizon 5. A very well optimized title, but one that actually consumes quite a bit of VRAM on max settings, so it's nice to have those 16 gigs. Moving on, this is the XFX Swift Pro Gaming version of the card. I'm running it with the latest AMD drivers, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power-Ups GPU 0. Reset bar is also enabled, of course. Again, it has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is a bit overkill for a 9060 XT, but something like a Ryzen 5 7600 will get you the same FPS. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright, let's go over the settings first. I am starting at 1080p resolution. We're also going to test 1440p and 4K. I'm using TAA as the anti-aliasing method because it looks very good in this title. It's a great implementation of TAA, the best actually that I've seen. It doesn't support FSR 4, unfortunately. For that, 3.1 would be needed here. And the graphics settings are all set to the maximum. And here we are. We're starting with 130 to 140 frames per second. That's really smooth. Of course, complete maximum settings. The game looks sharp as well, even at 1080p with TAA, which is not a thing that you could say in other games, but this one, man, this is sharp as heck, and it's lovely, my friends. The performance is amazing, the graphics are awesome as well, and the optimization is insane. I'm very much looking forward to Forza Horizon 6, by the way, whenever that happens. I'm not even sure if it has been announced, probably not actually, yeah. Anyway, let's keep on going here, guys. This is going to be fantastic of an experience on a 9060 XT. I was, what the heck, I was looking at the FPS there. We still didn't lose our license plate with the GT710. Yes, my friends, we gotta acknowledge that the GT710 is the best GPU ever created, right? It's probably the best viewed or the highest viewed GPU in the channel. I'm not sure. I got a bunch of GT710 videos that did really well back in the 2020-2021 year. Anyway, over here in the festival area, it usually gets a few less FPS, but it's not really affecting our 9060 XT 16GB GPU. And there goes our license plate. Talking about that VRAM, by the way, 16 gigabytes, you might think it's a bit too much for 1080p gaming, and some companies out there will tell you that 8 gigabytes is completely fine for 1080p gaming. Well, guess what? Not only the VRAM allocation is above 10 gigabytes at the moment, the usage is also above 8 gigabytes. It's at 9 gigabytes. So, yeah. If you were utilizing an 8GB GPU, you would be running out of VRAM, and I've seen that happening countless times here in Forza Horizon 5, so this is a great example of a game that even at 1080p resolution can max out an 8GB GPU, causing lower performance and a few stutters here and there. But let's keep on going here. We finally arrived at the city area. We're getting 110 to 120 FPS most of the time. Now it goes up. But anyway, let's go inside of the tunnel, and getting out of the tunnel is where you see the least FPS possible in Forza Horizon 5, and it dropped to 95 frames per second. It was such a small drop in terms of time. It was such a short drop that it didn't even lower our 1% lows to 95, even though the frame rate actually touched 95 frames per second. But yeah, guys, that's it for 1080p resolution. No need to utilize upscalings or frame generations or anything like that. It's always really smooth. Anyway, let's go up to the 1440p resolution, guys, and let's try this out at 2560 by 1440 with TAA and the same extreme graphics preset. I think I actually tested this in the full review of this GPU back in the Sunday video of this week. So I'm going to start counting our FPS right here. I already know what to expect, basically, but I think I actually ran the built-in benchmark. I didn't actually go through the tunnel and so on, which can lower FPS more than the built-in benchmark, which is a race with a lot of cars and so on. It's a little bit more intensive than just driving around, you know, and going to the city, but it's only a little bit. And the tunnel, once again, is way more intensive. So let's keep on going here. 90-something frames per second. Pretty nice experience to be expected, of course, from Forza Horizon 5. It's the usual in this game. I'm really glad it doesn't run like UE5s and problematic engines, basically. This engine is a marvel, my friends. It's really, really nice in terms of optimization. You can tell, right? Like, it's still a somewhat high refresh rate experience, even at 1440p resolution. You don't even need to lower it down to ultra settings. You can, if you want to achieve like 100 plus FPS all of the time. But, I mean, this is such a pretty game that if your GPU can handle it at maximum settings, I would just set it to that, forget about it, enjoy the best visuals possible in this title, because there is still a little bit of a difference coming from like ultra to extreme settings. And yeah, as you can see, it's still going to be a flat-out perfect experience. Let's go through the tunnel once again at 1440, and let's see that performance dropping. What's going to be the minimum? And the minimum was 76 frames per second, guys. Not a problem whatsoever. I mean, again, it's not a super high refresh rate experience, but this game isn't really a competitive game. You could play it competitively, I guess, but most people will play it just to chill for a little bit, just for races as well, you know, and 60 FPS is more than enough for it. So the 80 FPS or 92 FPS that we're getting right now, on average, is perfect. It's still going to feel like a high refresh rate experience on a high refresh rate panel, of course. Way better than the 60 Hz experience, so I'd leave it unlocked in this case. And you can even reach like 100 FPS at times, as you saw right there, although lots of vegetation is also really intensive in this title, so it drops your FPS by quite a lot. Now, things that I would like to see in this game being implemented is like FSR 4, because that would give us better anti-aliasing at native resolution, you know, FSR 4 native AA. I can see that like most of the picture is really sharp, and I have no problems with its TAA implementation, but those power lines right there, for example, yeah, I can see a lot of aliasing on those, and I think FSR 4 native AA would definitely fix that. So if the developers are watching this, please add FSR 3.1 support to this game so we can overwrite it in the Radeon settings to FSR 4. But for now, well, there's no issues, actually. Even with AMD or NVIDIA GPUs, actually, I choose to play this game with TAA most of the time and test it with TAA most of the time because it looks better to my eyes than DLAA does. DLAA with DLSS 4 is another story, though. That actually looks better than the TAA, and it gets rid of most of the shimmering and the power lines and so on. But if you use the default DLAA in this title, which is an older version of DLSS, of course, TAA ends up looking better in my eyes. Okay, it's weird, I know. TAA usually is crap in most games, but in this one, it's awesome. Also, in terms of VRAM allocation, forgot to tell you about this, at 1440p resolution, it's up to 11 gigabytes. So a 12 gigabyte GPU would be completely fine here using these settings, as long as the power is adequate, of course, and can actually handle it with these FPS or more than 60. But yeah, something like a 3070 Ti or a 3080, for example, 10 gigabyte GPU, would be running out of VRAM, which is very interesting. 3080 is also faster than this one, by the way. But yeah, VRAM limitation is definitely a thing, even with an older title like Forza Horizon 5. And now let's go up to the 4K resolution, guys. I'm gonna increase the size of the Afterburner overlay, or Rivet Tuner actually, a little bit once again, and here we go. 3840 by 2160 resolution, maximum settings. I think this is gonna struggle at these settings. Yeah, okay, so we're starting with 60 frames per second, and now I'm actually running the game at my native resolution of this monitor that I'm using here, and it's fantastic. Those power lines look super clean as well, even with the so good this game. But as you can see, it is dropping slightly from 60 FPS. Getting out of the tunnel drops down to 55, which is actually still pretty decent, guys. Yeah, I thought it was going to drop into like the 40s after seeing 50-ish frames per second outside of the tunnel, you know, dropping into the high 50s. Most of the time it's going to be 60 plus-ish? No, okay, so it seems like vegetation is more intensive here at 4K resolution on this GPU, and it can drop into the mid-50s whenever you are inside of bushes, unfortunately. So it drops to the same values as the tunnel area. Huh, interesting, guys. Very interesting. I was not really expecting that. It's probably because of the 128-bit memory buzz, actually, on this GPU. Let's go drive through the city. It's almost sunset time, actually. I don't remember seeing sunsets in Forza Horizon 5. It's been a really long time since I've played this game, you know. And also, I told you, like, 60 FPS is more than enough for this game to enjoy this game, and this is a very enjoyable experience still, even with the drops from 60 frames into the 50s. I don't really have an issue with it. I actually played this game for a long time, outside of benchmarking, you know, with my RTX 3070 laptop. Okay, and there we go, dropping down to 55 once again, if there was any doubt that that is the minimum frame rate. There it is. But yeah, I played this game a lot with my 3070 laptop and Ryzen 9 5900 HX, and I think I was on ultra settings, 1440p resolution, and I preferred to lock it to 45 FPS most of the time. Oh my god, we lost our spoiler. Okay, so now the car just looks bad. That spoiler makes such a big difference, right? Anyway, I chose to play with 45 FPS locked in that system, with G-Sync as well, or V-Sync, I don't remember if I had G-Sync, probably did. But yeah, I got used to the 45 FPS experience. The laptop was way quieter as well. That's something that bothers me sometimes in laptop gaming, the noise and the heat. And that way, it was looking really clean still at native 1440p resolution, and getting 45 FPS all of the time, locked without dropping anywhere. And I enjoyed the hell out of the game like that. I played with a controller as well. You can't notice the lower frame rate as much if you play with a controller. And yeah, it was just great, guys. It was... oh boy. What's not great is my driving here today, my friend. I'm so sorry. But hey, we're just trying to test out the GPU here, alright? I'm not trying to drive well or anything. Just seeing the graphics as well. Also, YouTube compression completely wrecked the graphics of this game. Basically, if you have a lot of detail in games and you are driving really fast or doing really fast movements, like I usually do in games, the YouTube compression just ruins the video quality. It's awful. I really hate that aspect of YouTube, actually. But yeah, aside from that, guys, this is a great experience at 4K, maximum settings still, 63 FPS on average, 1% lows of 53, so it indicates a stable experience, zero stuttering, slightly higher in 12 gigabytes. Actually, it is 12 gigabytes of VRAM allocated there, so a 12 gig GPU would still be fine, I guess, but it would be right on the edge of running out of VRAM. Anyway, I want to go with ultra settings now. And we need to restart the game because, well, it didn't reach 60 plus 100% of the time. So on Ultra, it might on the 4K resolution. It's still daytime, and holy crap, dude. That is an insane increase in FPS. I am out of words, actually. I wasn't expecting 100 FPS. I was expecting like 70, 80 maybe. But we went from 60 to 100. That's a huge
Pause
increase.
menu.
Shut up!
Enter select.
Of course.
ESC back. This menu is not narrated.
I totally forgot that Bob was here in this game. Anyway, 4K resolution, I'm going to show that to you again. Ultra settings instead of maximum settings. It kind of makes sense because we were using max settings, not the extreme presets, but there's only like a little bit of a difference from extreme to maximum anyways. But yeah, coming down to ultra settings gives us an insane boost in performance, and if you go down to high settings, there's another insane boost in performance. This game is crazy. But on high, it starts looking a bit too bad in my opinion. Right here on ultra, it still looks great. As I told you, I played a lot of this game on my laptop on ultra settings, and it was a great experience, visually, quality-wise. And over here, we're now dropping into the 80s. Not a problem. Getting out of the tunnel drops us down into the 80s, guys. 83 FPS. This is full-on 4K native resolution. It's not upscaled. We're not using FSR or DLSS. Obviously, it's an AMD GPU, doesn't support DLSS. Or XeSS, you know. This is full-on native 4K resolution on a 9060 XT, which is considered a 1440p entry-level GPU, or I mean, yeah, like a 9070 or 9070 XT are considered 1440p good GPU, higher-end 1440p GPUs. This is entry-level to mid-range 1440p GPU, you know? It is an adequate GPU, obviously, for 1440p resolution. But yet, we're here playing Forza Horizon 5, a beautiful game, at full-on native 4K res, with close to 100 FPS average. That's great, guys. And a little stutter there, probably loading in this new area here. We haven't been to this part yet, I think. Yeah, so that will happen throughout the map, I guess, until you load in everything. But yeah, this is awesome. It's awesome to see such good optimization, and this is what's lacking on a lot of new titles. There is no excuse that the 9060 XT or 5060 Ti, which is around 10% faster than this, can't play games at 1440p with higher FPS than they do right now. Some games, like especially UE5, once again. I just hate that engine. Still, guys, let's stop it right there for 4K Ultra settings. What a great experience. I still want to check it out just at 1440p resolution for a little bit, and Ultra as well. All right, here we go. 2560 by 1440, still looking sharp. Even in my 4K monitor, 1440p is looking sharp in this game. Sharper than other titles, mainly UE5 was. Like, seriously, let's stop that talk. I'm gonna get mad if we keep talking about UE5. Oh boy. Anyway, guys, 1440p Ultra settings. This is native res once again, getting 160 FPS average almost. Now that is just crazy. All right, here we go. Time to go to the city again. 170s. It probably even touches like 180 FPS in some scenarios. It's pretty insane. So this is a full-on super high refresh rate experience all of the time. It does drop from 144 FPS, so it's not gonna max out 144 Hz the entire time, but it's pretty damn close to. As you can see, it's now up into the 150s. That's great performance. Once again, I just love to go back to Forza Horizon 5. Oh boy, if you haven't bought this game yet, or if you haven't played it yet, if you have like Game Pass, for example, I think it's included there, go grab it, see for yourselves, watch those beautiful graphics and buttery smooth frame rates, and enjoy a great racing title. That's my recommendation here. Alright, thanks very much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.